The Liberals and the Conservatives, they're trading blows after a very heated question period. There was a refusal by Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader, to withdraw a comment calling the Prime Minister wacko and his policies wacko. That resulted in Speaker Greg Fergus ejecting Mr. Poilievre from the House of Commons. So for more, this morning, we are joined by CTV's chief political correspondent and host of Question Period, Vassy Kapelos. So what a day, Vassy, yesterday. Earlier in the session, we heard the Prime Minister call the opposition leader spineless. Why then did the Speaker ask Poilievre to withdraw his language, but not the Prime Minister?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. There's a couple of reasons why, I think, but I also think there's debate over whether or not that should be the case. In essence, there was a disagreement happening over the issue of drug policy in British Columbia, and that led to very personal insults, including what you talked about, what you referenced there, the Prime Minister calling the leadership of Pierre Poilievre spineless. Then Pierre Poilievre went on to call both the Prime Minister and his drug policy wacko. And he was asked to retract that comment. He did say, I retract it, but I replace it with extremist. And basically that went back and forth 3 or 4 times. He kept replacing the word after retracting it. And ultimately the Speaker decided that he should be kicked out of the House of Commons, and all the Conservatives followed thereafter.
Some of the questions that are happening both yesterday and today is that the Speaker, Greg Fergus's neutrality, even though the Speaker is voted by the entire House, he voted on by the entire House, Liberal and NDP MPs are saying Poilievre disrespected the institution of Parliament. What is the precedent of party leaders being ejected?
Well, there is. I mean, people have been ejected. MPs have been ejected. The last example of a party leader I can remember being ejected from the House of Commons is Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, back in 2020, when he essentially characterized a Bloc Québécois MP as racist. What didn't follow was the entire caucus leaving. This was sort of different, but I think it's also what each side is making of it, right? I think it's a harbinger of the way we can expect the campaign to unfold and sort of what happens between now and the election, just sort of the personal nature of the debate versus it being policy oriented. And I also think that there will remain questions about the neutrality of Greg Fergus. Wherever you fall on this, and there are many different points of view, he did have to apologize for appearing in a video endorsing then interim, or saying goodbye, paying tribute to then interim leader of the Ontario Liberals, John Fraser. He was dressed in his full Speaker garb. He had to apologize for essentially making that judgment. And now you see Conservative MPs essentially saying he was doing this to protect the Prime Minister. I think there are very clear rules in the House of Commons, and there are very few of them. You can't impugn the character of another member of Parliament. Clearly, calling that person wacko is breaking the rules. The question is really when he retracted it, when Pierre Poilievre retracted it, which is normally what the Speaker offers the chance for the member to do. Like, was that enough? Is it enough to kick him out that he then replaced it? Like, it's a little bit murky, and you can see both sides are essentially using it now to frame the other.
Vassy, we are out of time this morning, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the House of Commons today if he shows up, and then what that discourse looks like. But I know you'll be watching.
He should show up. Yeah. He's got just one day that he's kicked out for, I should say.
He's got a one-day suspension?
Exactly. Well, not suspension, just when you're expelled, it's for one day, and then you can come back. And they did come back, the caucus, yesterday to debate after question period the budget bill. So
all right. Well,
might not be too true. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Vassy, thanks for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.